Alrighty, folks. My name is Robbie Moore, and I'm running for U.S. Congress. And today, I want to talk about the economy. You see, every month, the U.S. government puts out a jobs report. The Bureau of Labor Statistics puts out whether we gain jobs, lost jobs, breaks it down by sector, and tries to give all of us, certainly the government and the decision makers, but also private companies, a better understanding of what the economy looks like from a jobs perspective. Now, it could be said this is just one indicator of how the economy is doing. And as I've recently learned following the US government, none of this matters because the Dow was above $50,000. So we don't have to care about the jobs report, and we certainly don't have to care about what pedophiles are doing.
How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over 50,000.
But if the Dow should fall, which ironically it looks like Pam Bondi, if nothing else, is the best predictor of the height of the market, ever since she made that statement, the Dow has been falling and falling and falling. So I thought maybe we should go ahead and take a look at what is in the jobs report for last month, how does it work, and what does it mean for everyday Americans going forward, and see how that aligns with your personal experiences. And so here's what the job report looks like. And there's one major facet of the jobs report that I wanted to talk about, and that's revisions. You see, what happens every month now is that the jobs report comes out from the Trump administration, and they go, we had a gangbusters month. This month was incredible. We created so many jobs. This economy has never been better. And then at the bottom of the report, it also mentions that they need to do some revisions from the previous months, because you see the month before and the month before that, the Trump administration also came out and said we had an amazing month and look how many jobs we created. But then they have to go back and revise those down and give a more accurate picture of what jobs actually looked like. And so in December, you can see employers shed about 17,000 jobs. That's what we know now. But at the time, when the report was originally released, it was estimated to gain 48,000 jobs. January was a great month for jobs, but that was also revised down slightly to about 126,000. If you look at job growth altogether for this year in 2026, we've effectively had no job creation. It's just at zero. And so that brings us to the February report. And this is where I think the warning bells start to go off, where if you're an employer, I have a small manufacturing company here in Sacramento, the report is starting to align closer with what I'm hearing in my day-to-day work, what I'm experiencing with clients, and what's happening in my own business. And so the report that just came out, this is pre-revision. This is usually when they come out and say everything's great, but they didn't do that this time. The report this month has said we slashed 92,000 jobs in this country, and that's across sector, and that results in the unemployment rate going up to 4.4%. This is not great. When we are doing interviews and talking to people looking for jobs, it seems like they're having a hard time. They're having to apply to a lot more places, jump through a lot more hoops, and people just aren't hiring like they have in the past. And so I think especially for young people, they're really experiencing what is now starting to show in this data, and it's alarming. For me specifically, because I have a manufacturing company, it kind of strikes at home. Manufacturing lost 12,000 jobs in this country. Leisure and hospitality shed 27,000, and construction cut almost 11,000 jobs. And then when you dig deep into the report, you see that over the past few months, even when there is job growth, it really is coming from two sectors. It's coming from healthcare and social assistance. And those two sectors of our market have really kind of buoyed the labor market and kept the jobs numbers looking okay. And they lost this last month. One of the things that I think I find deeply frustrating is that I often will hear politicians talk about maybe the jobs report or the economy or the Dow, or take your pick of what sign they want to give you for how well the economy is doing. But just as being a guy out in the world, like going out, spending my money, and also being an employer and hiring people and seeing how many applications we get per job posting, how hungry people are to go and get a job, it hasn't aligned with what these reports say. And so what I'm really worried about is that when the jobs reports are good and the government tells you that everything's going well, but I can still feel that it's not doing well, that's not great. But what really worries me is what happens when the numbers are so bad that they actually have to admit like a job loss. That is a huge sign that we're certainly not entering into growth, but that we're experiencing real struggle. So one thing I want to say, especially for our young people that are going out into the labor market and trying to find jobs right now, if you are struggling, if you're having a hard time finding those jobs, know that it's not you. Maybe it's you. Maybe you need to work on that resume, but probably not. There's a bunch of factors going on, and you can't always take the government or people's wide view of the market and go like, everything's going amazing, you must just be doing something wrong. No, I think that it's important for us to say, especially as elected officials, especially as leaders, for us to acknowledge when people are struggling and not try to gaslight them into thinking that everything's okay. In fact, the market is struggling right now for a wide variety of factors. One thing that I believe so strongly, if I were elected, and how I would want to lead, is I think we need to be open, honest, and upfront about these facts and figures and these numbers. We need to have data that we can rely on and be able to talk to people, talk to the public in general about what's actually going on. Because if you don't accurately understand the problem, you'll never be able to find the solution.